Good morning. Today is the 23rd of January 2024 and we've got 30 minutes before the market opens, and I'm going to go through today's plan. I won't be trading today, I'm away for a bit, so I'm just going to do a plan. If I see something early on I may take it, but this will be my last live video until Monday. On my screen at the moment we're looking at the ES or the MES chart, which is the 1 hour time frame. Starting with the daily, you can see we've had this push up. One thing to note, move up but decline in volume. Let's change my colour, that's better. So this move up, but we've had decline in volume, so maybe we're going to have a bit of a rest, maybe a bit of a pullback to this area for the next move up. So I'm kind of targeting this area for potential bounce off the previous all-time highs. So that's an area high on my watch list to watch out for, just around about there, 48.40, which I'll show you on the hourly. So that's one thing to bear in mind. Obviously we've got reducing volume as well, but the candles are getting smaller and smaller. Let's just line up. In fact, that's not entirely true. We've got above average candle there. We've got a slightly larger wide range candle with slightly less volume, and then we had this indecision candle yesterday with even less volume. So potentially we could be looking for a bit of a pullback maybe, but we can just play that and see how it goes during the day. So that's the area I'm watching. So let's go back into the hourly, and first of all the big thing that stands out is this potential head and shoulders pattern. Potentially this could be the right hand shoulder. We don't know that until it's formed, with a neckline down over these areas. So that's the first pattern to watch for. I quite like a break and retest of this area if we can come down, but that's against the trend. We're in a big uptrend right now, so that's against the trend, something I'm not really looking to play, but that'll be with confirmation only. That'll be a break and retest short. One thing I do like is a bounce off of this area. It's the same level as yesterday. You can see it bounced off this area perfectly yesterday, and maybe we'll come back down. We could just be playing this range for today. So it's a higher risk bounce, but we are on the 50 moving average. This is the red line is the 50 moving average, so that acts as an extra level of support. And we bounced there last time. There's not much volume in that area, and so we just need to see whether we do bounce again. Probably best to wait for confirmation or keep your stop tight. As for a next bounce, the area I'm really watching, I should have said on the daily, is this area here, 48.42 for a potential bounce off of the previous all-time highs. Pivot there. We broke through originally on Friday, came back down, retested it, came back down, and then broke through. So this area is obviously volumes starting to come in this area as well, where you can see a little bit below we've got this point of control. So this entire area is a big area of supply. In fact, we had a big reaction. I can probably redraw my area, my demand zone, which would be based on that area there. So let's get rid of that one. So we've got a new demand zone, and that's just, normally I'd like to at the bottom of pivots, but that's the closest one. So we came down, and then we had a big reaction to that area, and it's off of a previous area demand anyway, so I'm happy to keep that one. So this is the area to watch out for if we come back in. Look for a potential bounce in this area. Helps having the upward curve in, which was sideways, 200 moving average. So this can act as potential support as well. So if we're coming in, we could see a potential bounce around that area. And that's really it. As for rejections, we could watch for the all-time high rejection over at 48.99, and that's with confirmation, but we're in an uptrend, and if we're sticking with the trend, we want to wait for a break and retest long. That's a better confirmation of a that would be a better way of taking that trade, because then you don't get stuck. If you go long there and it breaks out and then pulls back down, then we don't want to get involved with that. So confirmation on the break of all-time high. That's it. There's not really many other levels to watch for. So just to recap, we're watching 48.13 through to 48.30 is a wide area, so we'll be looking for a potential bounce. But the 200 moving average coming up may help us getting a little bit more precise. And obviously I use the 5 and the 2 minute for my entry as well. So that's an area I'm waiting for a bounce. Watching for a bounce off of this area, coming off the 50 moving average, plus we bounced it yesterday. So look for a double bottom here, or like I said, we could be just going sideways. Potentially, if this sets up as a head and shoulders pattern, we won't know until it forms this neckline. We can look for the break and retest short, or if you want a higher risk trade, the break of that candle on the hourly. Just zoom in a bit. So if we break down below those moving averages, we could look to trade short down here. But we are trading into this extra area of volume as well, so there's quite a lot of volume in that area, which is why it's acting as support right now. Just put that back. 1 second. Reset. Oh, weird, I can't get it to reset the chart. That's better. So that's kind of what I'm watching. So we're looking for break and retest or rejection, bounce or break and retest short. Bounce is my favourite, break and retest long is my favourite for that one. And then I'm really watching this area. I've got that level, what is that level? 48, 42 is a potential bounce area as well, coming off a pivot, but not as highly regarded as I would see this bounce down here. Oh no, I can see right, 48, 42, sorry, that's off of the previous all-time high, so that's a level of support. But this is the area would be great to get back down into, high area of volume and potential bounce area as well. So they're the areas I'm watching for on MES or the ES. Looking at SPY, keep it a bit more simpler because I don't really play that much. Similar levels, break and retest long of this area, 485.17, 485.22, that area. Or we can watch for the rejection short. With the trend is the higher probability, and against the trend is the lower probability. So with the trend is a higher probability setup. Again, down here we've got this area confluence where tops candles, bottoms candles, like on the MES. If we can break down, we can watch for a bounce back up, or look for the break and retest short. Maybe the first target can be that 50 moving average, which is curving upwards. And that's it really, they're the only levels. We've got previous all-time highs here, so we could potentially wait for the bounce back down here, kind of where the 50 is right now as well. And then we're coming into this area of demand. I'll change that to green. And we've got this area of demand down at 477 for potential bounce around this area. Same as ES we just looked at. Qs, yeah, not very exciting, exactly the same really. So still strong. Potential double top if we get back up to here, or we can watch for the break and retest long at 424.70. As it's in the uptrend, as you can see it's in the uptrend, it could potentially be going sideways before we get back up and break out. So the uptrend is a higher probability and the rejection against the trend is a lower probability. Bounce wise, 420.90, 420 the area, round number, psychological number. Potentially this 50 moving average will be meeting us up there as well, and it's where we bounced yesterday. Volume wise, not a massive amount of volume, but there is plenty of volume in that area. So we could be watching 421 basically for a bounce, that area. And again, like the others, if we can get back down into previous all-time highs around here, oh, come on, it'd be this area there and this area here. We can look for a potential bounce down here off of 410 and maybe the upward curving 200 moving average. But I prefer like 410 as a bounce area. Not sure I like anything in between, potentially around there. We could watch 413 as well for a bounce, which is off of the previous pivot there. And you can see it kind of reacted when it got to that area. Came up, rejected 413, came back up, waited, broke out, but hasn't really quite come back down to test it yet. So we could watch that area for a retest. Nasdaq. It's getting a bit boring now because it's the same setup. Everything's the same really. So we can watch this area, 17,150 for a bounce. This entire area down to 17,083. If we get down there, but this area looks a little bit different, and the reason I say that is we're kind of putting in a new low here as well. It's not. If you go back and look at MES, we're putting a higher low, but NASDAQ we're putting a lower low. So potentially there's a little bit of weakness here. Topping candle as well. You can watch for the bounce at 17,425 with the view that we may be changing trend. Might be early days for that, but keep an eye on. Watch for the rejection again at the highs. That's at all-time highs as well. 17,585, or the break and retest. Oil, I had a quick look earlier. There's not much going on with oil still. So that was the daily. The hourly sideways, nothing really to do yet. It's got to get back down to this area at $67, $68. Always got to we've got to wait for it to break above here for something. But it's been in this range now for some time. You could say it's an accumulation and waiting for something where if it's accumulating, we are coming up into the upper half of this range, and maybe we could see something break out soon. One to keep an eye on, but nothing for me at the moment. Gold. Potential inverse head and shoulders, not a great one, not a very good neckline, but we do want to get over 2039, 2040 area for the push up. But we are going into the point of control where the most volume has been traded at that price down the area, so it might be hard trying to get above that, but if we do, we can look for a continuation, maybe up to this area as a target, and then target in these areas. But nothing really. Couldn't break over that previous period, so potentially we may be just having a bit of a rest day and a break back down. The E-mini Russell 2000 index had a great run today. We talked about this a few days ago, where it broke down through this trend line, came back up, retested it, and then it's only just been strong ever since. It still is strong. Missed the wagon on that one, but potentially we got the break and retest of that area 2000. So if we can get it to pull back to 2000, might be worth looking for a potential long entry. Potential target. Potential target would be this area here, 2062. Let's put that in. And then 2084. These are the areas you can watch for, and obviously got the high. Not much below. You could potentially say this area. There's less volume around there. Yeah, so keep an eye on that one. But we might have already seen a bit of a pullback. And last but not least, we've got the Dow Jones Industrial. Not a great pattern, but you can just about make it out. Head and shoulders inverse, head and shoulders pattern. Neckline a little bit lopsided. So if we can break down below that level, pull back up, retest 3800, then we can probably look for a short. Although we do have a little bit of support around this area. A little bit of support up here as well. There's room to move. So we could potentially look for a break and retest of this area here. Or if we're continuing the uptrend, so it might not be a head and shoulders pattern, it might just be a high, 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 low, high, 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 low, still having a bit of a rest, and then higher high maybe. So we could watch for the break over the pre-market highs on that, 38,200. I think that's it really. Let's see if we've had any movement on ES since we've left it. No, not really. on the subject of pre-market highs, break and retest. 48.92 is the pre-market high currently. You could watch that area for a break and retest with a target of 48.98. Could get a $7 move, $6 move on that. Maybe that could be an early entry for the break and retest long. So we could, if we do go for the pre-market high, take a smaller position, break, retest, and then hold that position through this break and retest and add, look for an add. That's another possibility. But we'll see. Like I said, we need to break this candle first, and if we break down below that candle, this could be just a very wide head and shoulders pattern we're looking at. But that's it really, there's nothing more to play. I'm probably not going to trade today, I'm going to take it easy as I'm travelling a bit later. So, but I'll keep an eye on the market, and hopefully this video's helped you. If you like it, don't forget to hit the like button, and let's get those YouTube algos pumping as well. Right, thank you for watching. Trade safe.